Okay, welcome back to another episode of University of Conscious Science. We're gonna get this started here. There's a few things we're gonna go over in reference to yesterday, but this talk that we're gonna have is a personal talk about ourselves. So just give everybody a chance to come in or whatever. You know, peace and blessings, and I'm gonna share some of my experience and you know these experiences will help us connect who we really are. And we give a good understanding about what is being so that we understand what being is. Exactly what I need to read right now. I feel being my true self a lot right now. Peace and love, brother. What's going on, Cam? You know, I was thinking about you yesterday. I want to actually take you on as to mentor and to teach. So don't get me wrong. I just got one thing that I have to accomplish first, so I could start the mission with you. Because once we connect, it's gonna be like a continuous thing. So I have to make sure I'm dedicated to what I'm doing first before I move forward. So I'm just letting you know. It's a short shot. I read your messages and you're activating, you're definitely, a higher being going through it, and you just need a little guidance to help you make sense out of everything and to put your macabre in order, put your energies in order, and meet your angels, your higher being self, all that stuff, which you're experiencing, but it's coming in different forms and different chaotic. But your instinct self will get it. It's also part of this being thing that we're talking about, and to be your true self, you know, and stop trying. And so, with us, most of us here are YouTubers, and we sort out information, getting all this information. And while we get in the information, we forget who we are. And that's where the problem come in. And so we become this configuration of information, and we forget the true nature of who we are and what our true nature is. And your true nature is what gives you your powers. It's where your instincts rely, and power is a instinctive nature. And sometimes we deny our instincts because we are brought up in a society that is so moralistically correct or in mean world, and so we actually deny a side of ourselves. Well, the problem with that is, we was educated wrong from the beginning, and when in our education we came up with the term human being instead of just being. When you put human on it, hue is actually mean dead. It's something that's death. Our hue today means color, but the hue when it came out, it was first in Old English as law. So if you look up hue in law, you will see it means dead, just like black means dead too, dead in the eyes of the law. And so a human is a dead man and being. The actual word is just being. You're a being because you're going through sheaths of yourself. You're going through dimensions of yourself, aspects of yourself. Look at when you was a child, say around 10 years old, eating hot dogs and stuff like that. Now years go by, you're 24. You don't like hot dogs no more. Where's that little child? The little child that at 2 years old, the parent is buying all the stuff from the child is there, but 20 years, 15 years later, that child isn't there no more. And so you see, you're always evolving, but what you was yesterday, you can't get back. You can't be that little 2 year old physically, So you get to see that it's an evolutionary cycle in this who am I, who this being. And this being, if you can't weather yourself, meaning we go through different seasons. The seasons is a reflection as a symbol to show you that we're constantly changed. Nobody is fixed. Once you become fixed in this reality, you stop learning. An artist, once he become his head is swollen, he think he's the greatest artist. He loses his ability to be an artist because he stopped creating for tomorrow. So who we are today is not who we're going to be tomorrow, because you wouldn't be watching me. You wouldn't be participating and trying to educate yourself and advance yourself. So you're building towards a future you. And as long as you keep building towards a future you will never contemplate today and say, this is who I am. Because you're constantly changing. Just like the weather shows us that by having a different temperature every day, and we go through different seasons. So once you get that aspect of it, you get to learn more to understand yourself than to change yourself. Nature is raising you a certain way for the type of world we live in today. And so if you don't see that your instincts, your way of survival, your way of doing things is actually in tune with nature, you will lose your being and become a sentient being, a clone, a soulless one. And that's what really happens to a lot of people that's going on now. And us actually taking on these characteristics or trying to be what we see on YouTube, we get a disassociation of our soul. And so your soul is the one that's the originator. It's the one that actually give you not your pseudo personality from your mirror neurons from seeing things. Your soul is an original character, and for you to get your original character, you have to be in touch with your inner self, your inspiration, your intuition, which is of the soul. So being now, where we're talking about being, where it gets complicated, is say, let's take the basic one. You outside and you feel like cursing, but it's kids there, you can't curse. All right, this now is a form of what we mean by being. So being now would be the action and actually what you're supposed to do or want to do, in reference to you looking at it, weighing it, saying no, I shouldn't, or I should. And so those now hinder you from being. That's the handover right there, just the thought of it. So intuition will teach you to just be more instinctive, be spontaneous. Don't do what people expect. Living up to people's expectations stop your being, because you put yourself in a prison of their thought, what they expect from you. So having these expectations is like confining yourself to that. But once you actually be yourself and in being, you're undefinable, unpredictable, unorthodox. And so that's where creativity starts to take its turn. This where your creative sense come in, your original self, your individuality come in. So by you having an individual self, you're able now to separate yourself from the whole and actually don't have no insecurities about it. Don't feel insignificant, and start your journey, which is a unique individual journey that brings you back to tell your own tales or to have your own healing abilities to bring to the matrix. So being takes upon this itself the perfect way to understand, if you believe in God, which there is, that you're him, and you can't siphon your ways or filter out any part of yourself. You just got to be yourself. And in being yourself, that's the God in you. That's who you are. But if you try to regulate it, it's not going to work. So I just wanted to get that out the way. Now, in this, right, I want you to know, like, if we don't start looking into the higher worlds and seeing our higher selves, the higher beings, you have what's called mirror neurons. And so you're either going to mirror this physical world of the living, or you can mirror the ancestral ways of the dead. And so you got to realize what you pay attention to with your mirror neurons is what you're going to become. So you got always your TV on, your radio on, bombarding you in your ears. That's not your fault. They purposely set that there to actually make your mirror neurons be controlled by them. So once they have control over your mirror neurons, only thing you could do in your psychology is mimic everything in your physical reality. By not you using your mirror neurons, that's going inside yourself. So then you become an individual now. You individualize yourself. I'm going to give you a good example of individuality and mirroring how this occurs. It occurs with our parents. When your parents start whipping you and beating you and telling you how to be, and you start being like them, you really literally is your parents again. When you become a parent, you're a replication, a mirror neuron of your parents. Now, you get a lot of people, like when they hit like around 17, 18, they start being rebellious to their parents. They start arguing with their parents. Well, that's not literally what's going on. Psychologically, what's going on, the teenager now is fighting for his own individuality because the parent has been imposing its will on it, its macabre. And so once the child now realizing that it literally is out of space and is stifled, it starts to fight for its individuality, which leads to a separation from parents and the child. Because if they don't, the child will lose his own self and his own individuality. So you always see this when the child hit around 17, 16. Yes, I see peace and blessings. They always see contentions in the household or the rebellious child. And the child is not actually being rebellious in the sense of how we looking at it psychologically. The spirit world make them like that on purpose so that they could separate themselves to find the God in them, so that they could retain their dimension and their vibratory frequency from where they come from. If not, believe it or not, that same parent that birthed them is going to be their demon, because it makes splits in their personality, meaning their individuality still live, but they can't, it's being suppressed. So this makes a split in their personality. So in front of their parents, they act a certain way. In their household, they act a certain way. But when they get out, they act a different way. You don't want that to happen, because this leads to a third split and a fourth split and a fifth split. And so throughout life, we searching for the first split. So it reflects in our relationship. So we find people that is abusive to us, like how our parents broke up or whatever, this caused the split, who's over loving to us, and those be the ones that we pick back up and bring into our relationship. Now the thing about that is, that's fine if you live in what we call in the comfort zone of life. Look at it like a straight line. You don't want to go too far this way, because your life is based upon your ego and those splits. So what happened now is when you meet somebody who's different from everything you've been, we call it cognitive dissonance, meaning you agree with everything, she agree with it, yeah, we're friends, we're cool. But as soon as somebody else challenge what you believe in, they're your enemy, because of the simple fact of those splits. Those splits that was created during your life cycle, it actually brought in somebody to protect you. And that protector wind up being the one that is the one to say who's your friend, who's not your friend, because it literally, you're hiding yourself, and this split comes in. And let's say your mother beats you, as you 3 years old, you never got a beating in your life, you think your mother's reverence the greatest thing in the world, all of a sudden she beats you, you're like, what the fuck? So now after she beats you, the next time she go to hug you and give you love, you're not the one getting the hug and love. A split coming you, because mistrust come there now. And so the split take the hug and the love for it, but you're inside of it conspicuous because of the first beating. And that's how all our psychology works. And so now the one who comes to the front, it's the one that sometimes you will see as your split, that is especially used when you get these people that is always trying to be the star. The look at me's, we call them in ego splits. The look at me's and the pleaser. So this ego split, they not their self. They put the protective one in front. And this one now jumps out his way, all this other. So he's always the pleaser, the yes person, always doing it out their way to try to impress you. That's not their true self. That's one of their splits. And so you will see that one, and the superstar one, the one that from a child they got good grades in school, and the parent always rewarded them for the good grades, so they went through life in the same manner. Their relationship is based off of them getting gifts, and when they get a position or they get someplace in life, they want to be recognized. If they did something in the office, like all the paperwork and did it, they want you to say, you're a great worker, oh, you are incredible, thank you. So you wind up seeing these as the superstar egos from a child that got the good grades that the parents reward. They didn't actually get good grades because they wanted good grades. They get good grades for the attention, the energy that they're receiving from the person showing them these paperwork. So they call it the superstar ego, because of the simple fact you're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for attention. These attention people, because of these splits, becomes energy vampires to regular people. and they don't know themselves. They have these splits. They're unconscious of it, but you will see them. You got the why me's. These why me's is always the one. You can help them with a problem today, and tomorrow they have another problem for you. And it seems like you like, wait a minute, didn't you just have a problem yesterday? And then you help them with the second problem. The third day it's the same thing. Then you realize that they're literally siphoning your energy because they always stay in the why me's. And if it ain't you and you get rid of them, they over there at the neighbor house doing the why me's still. So you get these actually is the splits. Trauma is really messed up people out here. Yes, I see, and people don't really grab their trauma. They don't try to actually integrate it into their self. They actually live it out. So this trauma that you're talking about, it became emotions. And so that's why the pharmaceutical companies making so much money off of anxiety and all these other things, because with the internet and text messaging and Facebook, it induces these feelings because we believe everything we see on these social media stuff, and the relationships, even could be long distance, is real, and persons get traumatized when they get these texts and they see these pictures. And so this is what's going off in our endocrinology system, our organs. We're producing, overproducing these chemicals that actually making these pharmaceutical companies make money off of us. They say it's worse than crack right now. Just having social media, Facebook is worse than crack. So you got to understand what's going on with us so we understand ourselves. All right. So now you understand how the mirror neurons work, and you don't want to be programmed. You would try to not look too much externally, because you look outside yourself, you're only going to see things you want, see things that make you feel insignificant about yourself, believe it or not. And I'm not saying don't socialize, don't have friends. You can do everything you've been doing. It's the attention you put into what you're doing. It's the heart and the mind that you put into what you're doing. It could be done mindless, or it could be done where you got so much sympathy, you pulled yourself in something you can't get out of. You understand what I'm saying? So it's very important for you to understand those things. Now, human thought and will can only hold on to something, but the soul can create anything from nothing. It's important for you to understand that you could only hold on to something that's physical if you're only living outside your external self. But as long as you have your soul, you could take anything and make it into something. You're a creator, the artist in you come up. And so you will want to try to have to learn how to be your own creator by actually learning the self. The self is the ego. That's your first level of understanding. It's like when you're first, like as a child, you're raised under your parent, you're not awake yet. Your chakras is open, but they're not open yet. You understand? It happens at a certain age. So when your chakras now reach a certain level and they open, your I come in, your I am. So these people, when you want to know who chakra, root chakra open in their root chakra, they always talking about themselves. Those is the yo, me, and yo, I did this, and I didn't know I could do that, and this and this. You go with them, they're just gonna talk about themselves for hours, days, weeks, maybe the next year to 90 days of their I am. But those people are just waking up to themselves. It's like they just woke up in their body. Prior to that, they didn't know nothing about their I am or themselves. They was just pleasers for other people, or using one of the egos that I said, to look at me, the superstar, the gigolo, all these different egos be our actual pseudo personality till we come into our I am. Once you come into your I am, the first part of it is your root chakra in your sexual area. And when you're living from there, your consciousness go there, you're going to be professing the things you see. All the experiences you happen, so your love for your kids, your love for your job. It's about you. But that's the ego now coming in. And especially if somebody challenge you with the I am, it's like you become egotistical at the same time, but still redemption from your pseudo self. You understand? So now when your I am, it kicks in, and you have a battle, because the ego is still a beast. It's an animal. It's a shadow being. And you controlling it through what's called a light called consciousness. The ego is heavier, it's more subtle, it's stronger. So, yes, the Torah, peace and blessings. And so the ego got a very strong power over you. And this strong power gives you anxiety, fear. Why? Because it was always the ego all along who was the splits. It's all the splits in one. So the ego know your secrets, it know your sexual secret, it knows your fear, and it know how to use it in ways that will taunt you, get you upset. So once you realize that your ego is not just your I am and who you are, it's actually now your enemy when it comes to interacting with people. Your ego is your intuition too. When you're sitting all alone and you start hearing intuitional thoughts coming in the silence. That's your ego guiding you. Your way your body is made. It's made to work with a subconscious force. It's an energy. It's a spirit. This subconscious is only there for your protection. So it seeks out magnetically and electrically all your alignment and synchronicity to make sure your survival is first. Now your ego is the one that works with your subconscious to align these things. So, but your ego don't play no games with you. It's gonna take you off a desire. Desire is what you're running off of. Your desire is only actuality, not it's not reality, because it could be an iPhone today, it could be a new car tomorrow, it could be a house. Your desire is always changing, but your desire is only a target. The desire, look at it as just a circle target, and say this was the iPhone and you wanted this. Your desire now goes and target this. What makes this happen is your soul. Your soul don't have no power over your desires. Whatever you desire, your soul goes and get it for you. It waits here and you come magnetically attracted to it. So this is what's the problem. Your desires got your soul not working for you. Your soul is supposed to be ascending you and doing all the work for you, but it can't because it's locked in with desire. So whatever you're desiring at the moment, your soul is keeping that going. It's making sure that involved. And your soul can split up in half. Your soul is in your neuromelanin. You have neuromelanin around every cell, every single cell. You got 100 trillion cells. So you got your soul spread out all over your body in neuromelanin that takes a long time for it to leave your body. Even after you're dead, for the next 90 days, your soul is still partly in your body till all of it leaves, and it takes 90 days. So now that your soul could split up into subparticles and go out and help this person, help that person, doing this. It's like you're multitasking, make your soul weak, and your will. This is what's called will. Everything that you want, they tell you it through the law of attraction. Just want it and desire it, and you'll will it into your thing. Yes, because of your soul. I mean, the law that I'm giving you. It's a law too. Don't think it's just me saying this. This is natural magic. I'm teaching you the law. So the law is what you desire. Your soul is going to go get it. If you know how the astral world work or anything with the astral, it happens first in the astral and then come down to the physical world. That's what's called the tetragrammaton. And so once you take place in the astral, eventually it becomes something later on in the physical world. That's why you see some of your dreams come true. And so those is what you will see and experience. All right. I wanted to bring up also. All right. Once you befriend someone, you will be reluctant to tell them the truth. That's important for you to understand. And back in the days, I read to y'all out of what was it, Proverbs, about the friend thing. All right, back in the days, friend was really fiend, your enemy. There was no such word really as friend being what we call brethren. The brethren is the word. That's a different level. That's somebody you could trust in your house with your jewelry, with your most precious of things. That's what we call today supposed to be a friend, but that's not what happens. You see, the word is used so loosely. Literally, you get people who don't like you and you call them your friends. You got people who hate them, you call them your friends. So our enemy today is our friend. You know, our brethren or who we really have, we done moved it up to like soulmate, soul family, all that other stuff. But we engage in this love, hate, war relationship with this thing called friend. And it's very important for you to realize, even if you want to look at it in the aspect of the modern day terminology of it, that's my friend, then no, that's not true, because in this world, you will know what you think and what you believe, it becomes opposite. So if you love somebody, you're going to eventually hate them. Everything is like that in this world. If you don't know, I'm putting you on. So now this thing that we call friend, you have to build up a relationship past friendship to make it a brother, somebody you trust like a sister. That's what you want. Sister, brother, that type of thing. That means both of y'all is on the same page. Y'all went through something together. Y'all actually united. You could trust them with your kids. But if people like that who's not, you need to delete them out your life, because they're actually energy blockages that's preventing you from ascending. You want to make time for yourself. When you're talking friends, that's distractions. But how I'm wording it here, I said once you befriend someone, you're reluctant to tell them the truth. This is what makes you a liar. A friend make you a liar just by having a friend, because your friend could be Muslim and you could be Christian, and you want to tell him something, but you know it'll offend his culture, so you can't tell him the truth. So now you become a liar to your soul. That's how we look at it. Your soul knows everything. It knows when you front and it knows you can't fake it. So you gotta understand, once you start having a lot of friends, you become more of a liar. You can't tell the truth. And until you actually learn to tell the truth, because they say, and this is a fact, the truth hurts. If you can't hurt your friend and let them change their ways to become beyond a friend and a brother or a sister, a soul you, where both y'all Makaba come together as one Makaba because you trust them, you can't do the friend and accept them for their fucked up ways. And if you don't have the same fucked up ways, because they're gonna rub off onto you, and it could just pull you back down to a level where you was already once was. You see something in them, and you thinking you're gonna ascend them, but they descend you. So keep that in mind. You understand? All right. Being awake while the rest of the world is asleep, and that's important because in us we have a system that in our body we have a circadian rhythm. Our circadian rhythm is built upon the sun. As the sun goes around, it gives off radiation, the magnetic electric radiation that's actually in tune with our organs, which make them produce chemicals such as melatonin and serotonin, your vitamin A, your vitamin D. They do this during a certain course of the day till it calms you down by 7 o'clock, and it repeats the cycle again by 4 a.m. So now, being that we on this circadian rhythm, it's that. Oh, let me make sure I'm keeping this. We actually now have different cycles in us. I'm gonna break down with the cycles. So you have circles and circles and circles and circles according to the circadian rhythm. Because these, now you look at 7 circles. Just look at the basic 7. Your root chakra receives energy like around 6 in the evening. Your belly button, depending on the color, all you got to do is look at the electromagnetic spectrum, the colors of it, and align it with your chakras. You see what hours of the day you get certain colors, because the colors align up to the purple on the top of your head. Every color is aligned, not with the color like you're gonna see in the astral. That's the electromagnetic rays of the sun colors, and they align with the chakras and give them that nutrient at that time of the day. So now, with these sun cycles that you have, we look at it in this way. You have seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months. It's the 7 right there. These 7 cycles now has clocks in them of what has to do with the precession of the equinox. Just like the sun goes around in 30 degrees is a month. Same thing, the 30 minutes is the hour, the 30 seconds. They're all governed by different gods. Every god is the same. If you didn't understand and think it's pseudo, Monday is Luna, the god Luna. It's the 9 planets. Tuesday is Tigger. Wednesday is Wuda and Thor. Thursday is I forgot Friday, Frigga, Venus, Saturdays, Saturn. So you get an idea. There is all the gods is the day of the week. So that the gods don't just have the 7 days of the week. They have the seconds too. They have the minutes too, and they have the hours too. So say you only receive half of the thing because you go to sleep at around 9, 10, 11. That's considered half of the day side of the tree. The day side of the tree is the sunlight side. You also have a night side of the tree, which is your back side of you, that is different hours. So in the circle, you will want to meditate or have some type of conscious understanding of the different hours of the day and the lessons that come to you. Like, for instance, in the daytime, it's sunny. This is more healing to the body. It's physical lessons that you get from the gods. With me explaining the different frequencies of the circadian rhythm, it's like the different gods attaching to you to give you certain energies during those times. Now at night, you have the other colors such as infrared, indigo, gamma, ultraviolet, that is taking place on the night side of the tree doing the same thing. But now, if you don't know, these is the same gods where for the month you got one god. Let's say you're in January, Thoth, the month of Thoth. Thoth is the ruling god. Now under him you have 30 days. The 30 days will be ruled under Isis, with now each day representing a different god, which each hour representing a different god, and each week being ruled by, say, the angel Michael, the angel Gabriel for the week. So say you're gonna do your meditations at 8 o'clock every day in January for the first week, which is, say, Michael is the governing angel. So you do that now for the week. You received all 7 gods, the energies from them. So now you will switch. Say now you the second week, you won't do it at 8 o'clock. You will do it 3 hours later or something. Offset it so you get a new god. And you go through the whole procession receiving different energies from all the different gods. Thank you, Lillian the Valiant. I know this is so hard to explain. I didn't even think y'all was going to get it. But yes, it's important because we do these and don't understand it. The Hebrews didn't make up the days of the week to the gods if it wasn't real. It's 100% real. It's stamped and official by our government. We still use that system. Only thing we on the Gregorian solar lunar calendar, which is an offset of the circadian rhythm. We're not getting it to actually activate our spirits. For you to get it to activate your spirits, it will have to be under the lunar calendar. The 28 days, 13 months. 13 is the magic number, which coincides with the female's menstrual cycle. You could do it psychologically or get your own calendar, get a moon calendar and follow that, and you be in cycle. But the way the Gregorian calendar is set up is, 28 days here, 30 days here, 31 days. It's not synchronized and sync perfectly like how the 28-day lunar calendar is. So keeping that in mind now, when we do it in the daytime, it's good to take naps in the day, because whenever you take a nap, you want to go to see the gods, just take a nap. You automatically just ask to project and go up there. So now on the nighttime, it's the same thing. You want to stay up and meditate from past 11, 12, sometimes doing it at 2, 3, to get some of those night gods energy, to get that radiance from the infrared and the ultraviolet, all those different spectrums. You would meditate in the dark with just a window open, trying to catch starlight, moonlight, natural light, and use that to guide you. So those will give you back the circadian rhythm of the night energy, and you're conscious of it. It wakes up it put the gods back on your pineal gland, what we call the Daf gate. That's how you get them to actually be working with you and not set up the altar where they're working for you. It's a big difference. You have to pay back if they work for you. If it's on you and that's who you are, you're the king. That's your rightful heir to that throne of the gods, because you're all spirit. All right. Now, I was gonna say, um, in reference to the gods, I wanted to just straighten a few things out. You know, there's a ancient Egyptian name for the god. His name was Pre. This is where we get Re from. You know, it's Ra, R A, and you get R E, Re. Well, PHRE was the original version, and it's just another name for the sun. They wasn't talking about a god named Pre or RE was a god. Some No, it's just a word for the sun that they call Pre. Pre became where they get the word pharaohs from. That just meant children of the sun. So Pre and Pharaohs came next, and that's where you get children of the sun from. Excuse me. And then came AMN, which is where we get our Amun from, which is also another name for the sun. You know, and from there you get AN, An. An is another name for the sun. You know, from there you get Neb, N-E-B, another name for the sun. And then Canep, C-N-E-P-H, Canep, same thing, another name from the sun. And then from Canep, you get Canopus, C-N-O-U-P-H-I-S, which comes Cronus, which is the same God, which is the same sun. So you see how they take a name, original name, and throughout different cultures it changes, but the character is still the same. It goes on now. Canep was also worshiping the temple of Esne. That's E-S-N-E if you want to Google it with the name Canep, C-N-O-U-P-H-I-S. Um, you will see that this is actual. This is not something I'm making up. And this is where you get Cronus from when the Greeks come and they switch it over. Now, from Pre, you get also Ptah. Ptah was the original, not Ra and or Osiris. This was from the first dynasty. It was only Ptah, and I think it was Satmet was the first dynasties who they worship. But Ptah, we know them later. If you follow it, it becomes Vulcan. Vulcan is Ptah. That's the same person, which it means just supreme God, and was called Sukkari, S-O-C-A-R-I, which is also Buddha. Buddha, who was called a Sakar or sage, is the same thing as saying Ptah or Pre. And this all takes up on they took the image of Ptah, which was actually the man holding the penis, and that's became Osiris later on. So Ptah and Osiris is the same person. Ptah is just the first Osiris. So you get to understand this is all just being passed down, passed down, passed down, but it's the same one culture, same one people, you know. So I just wanted you to understand that. All right, so now getting back to your being and actually understanding what it means to forget about certain attributes. It's actually you are the God. When I tell you God is action, if you was to slip into the body of God, you would be in a never-ending journey. So that's who you are. Only when you start talking, your ego. When you moving and you're doing action, that's your being. You can't help what you're doing. Your being is who you are. You're just being at the moment like everybody else is being. But that's the God in you. That's the truth. There is no other God to look up in the sky and see. That's him, you. Whatever your attributes is, that's what he has. You didn't make yourself. You're just a reflection of him. So once you get that, you will start more being and doing more action, and you will see yourself creating more, helping more, being more in society. But if you're just a talker and you just want to talk, you're never going to be in touch with the God you, because the God you don't talk. It's an action thing. You understand? Okay. And that's, I wrote down why we're not God is because we talk too much. We want to know too much. If you was to just do, you would see that it's actually the being in you at this time for what's going on is what you was created for this. You're doing the thing now, you know, but a lot of us lost ourselves because we feel insignificant seeing all this European stuff, technology. We lost our true ancestral ways. Some of us is from the technology age, but just feel insignificant in their own beliefs. So And us, we ourselves just gotta love yourself. And a lot of people, believe it or not, is only starting to love themselves today. They're just like, yo, I'm starting to love myself. And that for that, then you ask them, so who did you love before? And you will realize they would love everything else but themselves. And when you don't love yourself, you can't love others. So they never knew what love was. And that's the truth. A lot of people don't know what love is. And so they offer a pseudo version of love, not to themselves, to everybody else, and neglect themselves. You understand? If you want to know, it's only to please your ego. If you just want to do, that's to please the God in you. If just be a doer and that's all you're doing. Now I say, are you God? And no, you're not God. But if you by you being God is if you know yourself. So the trick to this is to know yourself. God is light and intelligence, and so are you. God is dark and ignorant, and so are you. So you got to understand everything. Whichever you choose, you're still an emanation of the whole. Once you realize that, you won't go against what you do. You won't second guess yourself. You know that what you're doing is right. Anything you do is right. There's no wrong way for you to do it to say it's wrong. That's society putting you in a box. So for us to make a new future, to be diverse and to actually bring something to the table, you got to be able to think out the box, because that's what's popping out of you. That's where all this psychology is coming from, all this stuff in your head, all these things that you cannot manifest into physical because we can't will it right. You understand? So by you being, it's actually saying, yo, I'm stopping procrastinating. I'm stop talking. I'm just gonna do. And anything that comes to your mind, whether it's selling peanuts on the corner, opening up some type of spring water business, it's time. This is the time now. We're in the age where anything you think, don't think it, just do it. Stop thinking. Think Thinking is not being. Thinking is like there's a wave of doing. This is the wave for doing. It goes like this, right? And it's just a wave around your body, but it's going like this. So as long as you stay like this, you could will anything. But when you think, it goes. Ooh, you're thinking now. It don't do nothing. So you say, let me see if I could, and it won't work because it needs to be fluctuating, oscillating, and waving at the same time. So that's what it's doing to make what you throw into it go out to wherever it's got to go. It's flying out like that. Then you ever see them little particles like when you stare at the sky and the clouds, you see little white particles coming out your eyes? That's dumb. And so they come and they go. They make connections. All right. Let me tell you what is. I want to tell you about like the shaman life, real quick. You know, when I first started meditating, I didn't know nothing about meditating. I was just pulled in, and I thought it was the most fascinating checkered boxes and stuff. What is this? I'm just in another world. And so it took a while that I got conscious that, yo, hold on, my eyes is closed. And it's not dark and I'm seeing a whole nother world. How is this possible? So upon seeing like my eyes is closed and I'm seeing all these checkerboard patterns, it's like if I'm in a wave of water, I start trying to spin the checkerboard pattern. I start trying to twirl it. I'm trying to swim to the bottom. I can't get to the bottom. It's like forever. So I'm there like, what the hell is this? So eventually, maybe 3 days of just observing this checkerboard pattern or whatever. And it's more paisley. I wouldn't say checkerboard, paisley-like pattern. And so I start seeing a little drip, a little light just dripping at the bottom. And as I focused on the light, it started dragging me down in there, drag me through, drag me through. Next thing you know, I was seeing the limbs of a tree in darkness. And I'm like, inside of me start talking is like the tree of life. And so I'm seeing a tree and I go past the tree and I go into now another place where it's like a screen, but the screen won't stay still. It's moving all around. And I'm trying to grab it. So I had to learn to focus. I grabbed it now, my magnetic field on my chakra right here is tight. I can feel it squeezing, but the screen now is staying still enough that eventually it gets bigger and bigger and consume me. But if you didn't know to control the screen, it looked like a little dot or orb or something flying all over the place, coming and going in your darkness of your eyes. And so with that now, I was able to realize that there was more going on. I started going into these other worlds and seeing there's a body double, and you actually take your consciousness and go places. And so I was visiting everybody I know, seeing ghost images, dismembered people, animals, the wolf, having lessons. This is like 3 years of just observing another world, the astral world, the invisible world that is right here in front of us that we can't see. And so after 3 years of observing it, I started just being a novice and knowing who's what or what is what. Like most people would see these as colors reflection. I don't see that. I see beings. I see each one that makes up this whole composite image. Everything that makes this up, I don't see like how I used to see 4 years ago as just these panels and this and this and this. I have another vision that sees something else here now. And that we all have that ability, but we never tapped in. We lost it when we saw it as kids. When we was kids, what we really saw was really what was there. What we called our imagination was not our imagination. What we filtered out now is what we don't see no more. You filtered it out. Like you look and you see something, then you're like, no. And then you look again and it's gone. Your brain done filtered out that frequency. And so these is cut off neurons. A lot of neurons get cut off and we don't see no more, even though you can see. And you don't hear no more, even though you can hear. So you don't hear the low frequencies and the high frequency because you personally cut off because you're hearing our voices or seeing things. But those was your true perceptions. You didn't know that. So your parents tell you this and this and this, and so everything disappears. But for me, like I said, now seeing in these other worlds, it's only been 4 years. It's like mind-boggling because it actually connected me to things that I had to go research, such as I was seeing from Hitler to, you know, people picking cotton, Africans all over. And I'm like, what is this? So I learned there is a Akashic Records. There's a place where the halls of all information is stored. And we all could tap into it through the vibratory frequency of our heart. It's a magnetic field around us, just like it's a magnetic field around the earth. And so when you see them movies, like you see them paralleling into these parallel worlds, you're doing it. You're doing it unconsciously and don't realize this is the age of it. Netflix show you that with all the movies. It's not about aliens. If you notice in the beginning of 2000s, it was about aliens. What happened? Now it's about demons and these spirits and all this stuff because that's the truth and they didn't want nobody to know because we would awaken. As long as we was dormant to it, we see it as entertainment now and don't tap into it and don't recognize it when we actually go through our own awakening to be healers. All of whoever go through something spiritually, post-trauma, mentally, is to make you a future healer if we understand this whole process. So anyways, 1 second please. Yes. All right, I'm back. All right. Now, the reason why a lot of it we have to go into ourselves. I'm explaining to you when I was going through my situation, I was first seeing these reptilian beings and these gray aliens. And I used to run out my house and go to my uncle and tell him all these things that they're evil, that I'm being abducted, I'm being taken away. Imagine this. This is real talk. Listen. I don't think y'all understand. This is 2019, and I'm telling you about 4 years ago. There's these things that's right in this room or right in the air, and you could see them. People, beings, it's here. I'm not kidding you. Think about that, right? Just that alone. Thank you, Latoya. She say facts. I'm pretty sure she see it too. So I don't know what's going on. Yo, I swear to God, I was calling NASA, leaving messages on NASA. Here I am grown, never seen this before, until I started purifying myself. All of a sudden, I felt like I was under attack by these spirits, these entities. And yo, I mean, I waged war when it got candles, incense, chains, crucifixes. I still got on my door the biggest Yo, I was not religious, and I would say fuck God, fuck Jesus. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Yo, when I tell you, this thing got so real, it just messed me up totally. It killed me. That's why I real event in my life where I died, literally. And so let me tell you, when this thing come on, at first was, doing the cloud things, staring at the sun, so sun staring. I'm thinking of something regular, and I'm saying I'm the son of Ra. I'm thinking I got Ra. I'm thinking I got powers, because you do get magnetic bottles, putting them in a big ass bowl of water, and I could use my mind. And I'm like, how could we do this? With my mind to move the Pepsi bottle around in the weirdest shapes and patterns. So I'm observing this. I'm also talking on the phone to people, and I would start then realizing something just tell me to do like an exorcism. I was doing exorcism on people, and they start throwing up. They start farting and shitting on themselves right over the phone. I don't know what's going on. This is real. There's things in us we don't know, and there's a whole system that once the angel or being activated in you, you get these instincts because I didn't know I could do this. Excuse me. So at the same time, I'm running around looking for help. Like, no, there's something attacking me. And so I go to from exorcisms to all type of different um, spiritual helpers and witch doctors, and all of a sudden, there was nobody that could help me. It wouldn't go away, and I was dealing with something that was so powerful. I was in another world. Like literally, this room will turn black. My walls will disappear. The floor will disappear, and everything. I'm in another place, and so it's just me and this scary ass place. Just like if you see some of the rocks or environments, they look kind of creepy. So I'm in there now, and I want to know what's going on. Why am I here? And who are you? And why are you holding on to me? Why can't I get out of this? It got to the point where I said, all right, I have to man up. You're not going to let me go, and I'm not letting you go too. I don't know if you're taking my soul. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm just in this darkness, facing this darkness. And you know what? Let me tell you, it seemed like it made me sit in my rocking chair. And as I sat in my rocking chair, the rocking chair started going, and I jumped out the rocking chair, and I was like, "Yep, there it is. I know you was gonna take my soul. I know something is up." So I'm there like, "What the fuck is this?" My rocking chair is moving by itself. My mirror seems like this image comes out the mirror and just consumes me and takes me into another world where it comes right to the entrance right here, like if I'm at a cave. And so now I said, okay, let me see what's going on. I get in the rocking chair, and showing up, it start rocking back and forth. Next thing you know, my mirror's coming, everything is coming. And I go through. It's dark. I'm scared as hell. And every time my face pops up, I will screech inside. I screech inside. And so now, when I'm in there, all of a sudden, it seems like I'm going on a roller coaster ride. And I see the sky, and I'm flying by clouds, and I'm seeing meadows, and I'm seeing like if I was on a Google map. I saw castles. It was so beautiful. I jumped out the chair, dropped on my knees, and started crying. I was like, wait a minute. Why would you show me something so beautiful if you're evil? I said, wait a minute. I'm the evil one for judging you. And that's what kept happening. I kept calling this thing evil, that it's no good, it's going to take my soul. And every time I did that, it made me look into myself, and I saw I was the one fucked up judging. It was me, the human being. With my only definition was being possessed, or this is demonic, or this is evil. This is, And so I didn't have nothing else to equate it to but that. And that was what the problem was. I had to go dig deeper now. Digging deeper, man, I had to go find books from the medieval period that has not been translated into English because they purposely knew about my condition and purposely never translated any of this information that could give us understanding of what I was going through. So now I start bumping into this guy, Athena's Kircher, and he was a Jesuit priest, the first person to go into the Egyptian temple. And when he went into the Egyptian temple, he was supposed to translate what those hieroglyphs says. And when he took it and translated it, he said it was about parallel dimensions, demon spirits, and stuff like that. They said, no, he's crazy. That's not what it was. And they took him off of the Egyptologist Jesuit board and added their own version of it and said those was letters. That means A in English. That means B. It doesn't mean none of that. That man interpreted like how I see it. It told me once I looked at it on Facebook, seeing little Egyptian symbols, I knew how to go into the parallel. I knew the disc was a portal. I just knew these things instinctively from that thing coming inside of me or something activated. And so when I read into Athena's Crutcher, come to find out he write books on the parallel world. He was one of the smartest men in the world. He got the whole Egyptian information tricked out with the gods and stuff in German, so we wouldn't know what it means. And so I started saying, oh, so the French, the German, the Portuguese been to Egypt, Africa, translated everything, put it in their language, then destroyed it so that English don't get it. English took only the Bible, consolidated everything, and gave us one book of some of the information that we need. And why? Because my experience is not something that is unique to me. It happened to a lot of people. It's called Kundalini. If you read Kundalini biology, those is called pops. We go through them. Our root chakra open, this chakra open, depending on situations you're facing. So now, with that happening, I started having these reptilians, these things that's in me. You start seeing the Sumerian history comes first. Everything is in you as shadow beings. So it comes alive all of a sudden. And only thing that saved me was the next level that I knew, which was some angels, some white beings, all black, with just everything else white. Their hands is black too. And it was them just swinging swords at these reptilians. I watched two angels fight about 70 to 80 reptilians and just was demolishing them until, what's going on, Michael? Until the reptilians swarmed over them and killed them. I was rooting for the angels, but the reptilians won. And I was back to being fucked up again, in the corner, all traumatized. And then the next day, it came back again and it helped me. And I learned how to do it. This is shaman information, I'm telling you, how I became into being in my spiritual abilities. And so now, once I realized that, okay, there's angels, wait a minute, there's something else going on here. That's when I stopped pronouncing myself, professing myself son of Ra. Because I thought I was the son of Ra and I had powers. But nah, it was something else. I'm not religious, like I said. I didn't believe in none of that. But it fucked me up when I saw angels, and I kept that in the back of my head, like, wait a minute, what was that about? Why? You know, reptilians, we don't have angels in here, but it was the angels who saved me. And then, so later on now, as I'm learning, looking at Egyptian stuff, looking at Sumerian stuff, looking at Babylonian stuff, all these stuff would just take like a image and start, I'll go through the image come alive, and it'll do the same thing like when I'm traveling through the mirror or whatever. I just go through it very slow, and I'm encompassing the little world where even the little pictures in it start moving around, and I get to see everything that took place at that moment in time. So that became fascinating to me, and I'm observing it. But at the same time, I was going through a physical transformation, actually losing weight, looking like a reptilian because of stress and everything. My eyes just getting the cat. Started putting out the videos. Each level of the video I put out was an ascension. I go from the dragon to Suma to every type of side of my release or unfoldment of my true self that led to who I am today was being let out my mouth. All of them came out one by one, and it was shown in the videos. 500 videos is on my YouTube channel of every day me unleashing another side of myself, seeing more and more and more. And so once I was able to become comfortable with it, and through the reading of these medieval books, to see now I found somebody who was going through what I'm going through, and I found an alchemy. When I found it in alchemy, it was called the Philosopher's Stone, the elixir. It says that it actually make you young and regenerate. It keeps you active. So I started studying guys like Paracelsus, John Dee. This is now the information. I said, whoa, okay, this is it. And from there, it went into yoga. Everything stood in the East. There's nothing in the West that has anything to do with it more than speculation. So now, with studying it, as far as, excuse me, you find out magic is involved, and then you find out Tantra is involved. All of these now that made these great inventors, these great people that actually know all the sciences, that was the one that became Edison and Einstein, Francis Bacon, Shakespeare, all of them was all part of this one same conglomerate that they all went to back to the Africa and other and got connected with what was called the curse of King Tut to be awakened. That's what it does. And so what wound up happening is eventually now I started learning it and understanding it. And with it now, I realized that, like I said, it wasn't from Ra and it's something else. I realized there was not just the spirits there. There was always somebody there watching, always watching. Like right here, you would see an eye, a nose, and a mouth in this little white reflection, right? Something like that. It's always there watching. So I'm like, wait a minute, who's this? And believe it or not, it's like a Santa Claus looking man, bearded black man, bearded, but you can't see him. He's very reflective like this. If you look at the picture, Abagada, whatever y'all call it, Obitala is what I said. Wholesome brother, another day, another transformation. Kwa Ra El, that's right. And so now, I remember to get the reptilian eye, believe it or not, it don't just come. It took about 3 to 4 months. How the reptilian eye works. Let me give y'all a good understanding. It's like you go into, everybody close their eyes and meditate. But after a while, you have to learn how to meditate with your eyes open because we can project out of our eye a full hologram image onto a wall, onto whatever we want. We could do that. Our DNA activate to do that. But first you have to take the pain. It's like putting salt in your eyes and it burns. So when I first started to do open eye meditation, it burnt a lot. Tears used to come out my eyes like crazy. And so after a while that stopped. It get to a process where they'll make overlays. I got like around 15 overlays of colors over my eyes to help me see in the dimension, where each one me holding my head down, and they'll come with the orb, and it's like Knight Rider. It just rocks it back and forth, a light, and I follow the light, and eventually my eyes turn mad cloudy, mad smoky, like a milk come over it, and it stays like that, and then the orb again, the blue orb will just keep going back and forth. Then eventually they'll do something to induce my saliva, and my saliva will turn thick like a fluid and start running. As the thick fluid starts to show, it brightens up now the lenses. I can't blink, I can't do nothing, and they'll pop like bubbles. And you have like a gold or gray overlay, and it goes away. Everybody have this. Don't get it twisted. All you got to do is squint into your eyelashes. Look through your eyelashes. You have color already in there. You can see through your eyelashes. They're designed to show you color lines especially when you're in the sun, to see in another world. This is where your chakras is at. So once you realize this, you get the overlays. They're the ones who put the overlays to make you able to not only see in other dimensions, but as you compress the moisture in your eyes, they become magnetic. So it's deep science, but it's what I had to learn. So the reptilian eye took over like 90 days. Yeah, it burns like hell. That's right. And so it took over 90 days of actually them kept rolling the orb back and forth over my eyes. And then you get Bess. Bess comes out now and he dances in front of you with a dagger. He got the dagger. He goes like this with the dagger. And then he comes and he sticks it in your eye. And he pulls down on it and rips it down like a slit. That's what he's doing. He do the other one. Sometimes you see it in Hekkai, the slit come all the way down like this. Greetings, Karima Ayesha. So once you get the reptilian eye, you feel it to an inner slit. That's really a gateway for a magnetic energy to come and electric energy, or what you could say antimatter spinning one way and antimatter spinning the other way. So now you actually affect subatomic particles. So you could actually bring subatomic particles to life. That's the whole process of why you get this energy. So if I was to stare over here, you get a distortion effect from the light. You know, I do it all the time. And with it, you also learn how to take shadows and bring them to life. You control shadows. So that's what it does to you. Yes, Latora. And so with this now, right, you get to be one with these beings as long as you can see them and don't be afraid of them. Like once I started realizing it, it was kind of messed up now because I got a spider web over my eye, or a spider. And I'm like, yo, get it off. For the first 3 months, I couldn't live with an X. A spider is in my eye. Like it looked like a spider. And so I'm like, what the hell? I used to go crazy trying to pick it off, doing everything. And it just became a regular instinct now. But it's something in my eye that I see. It's like an X, it formed like an X. I have to keep practicing the squinting to see. Yes, definitely. Now, once that occurred, I was traumatized by that being in my eyes. That was the first thing. But then my eyes became my powers, my source to actually affect people. I could use my eyes, and I know people that does meditations with me, and I do Kundalini activation. I don't do nothing more than look at you. I stare at you, and you feel it. You feel everything that I do. So, you know, it's through the same eyes that I tell you, it's the eyes of the dragon or Horus. So then we can bring to life. Yes, definitely, Latola. And so once those energies come on and you get the eyes, the gods start coming one by one. You see them come. They'll come as in regular intervals with the star. You see, the star is the key to getting the gods to come visit you. You have to find stars and stare at them, especially Cyrus. If you stare at the star like around 8, 9 o'clock at night, what's going to happen is by 12, 1 o'clock, the witching hour, that star is going to come to visit you, the star being as an orb. Now, only problem a lot of people have, being that I live by myself, I'm sensitive to all energy, so I can feel from a feather touching. That's about how much you're going to feel when an orb touches, just like the touch of a feather. It's very sensitive. And if you could sense these touches and you have some type of trauma, meaning you're scared, your eyes is going to pop out your head and you will see them. It's a holographic in the magenta spectrum being, sometime with a matrix pattern come out over it, or he'll be just an individual being. When I started seeing these beings, let me tell you, there's so many different levels to them. I had first the reptilian, then after the reptilian, the Greys, after the Greys, the Sumerian beings, after them, the Palladian beings, after them came the Arcadian beings with the big beard, after them, then I met the heavenly angels, and you would think it cap off there, but that's just a midway point, and it ain't even halfway. That's just on the beginning journey. After there, you get the abyss. It's a long place you have to cross called the abyss. After the abyss, you meet singular beings. You're going to meet all now like Metatron, Adonai. You meet Pan, all the chaos gods, Jesus. All of them is on that other side of the abyss. And that's the front line to God. You hear when they say in Revelation, when the Lamb opened the seventh seal, the first thing that comes is the four horsemen, then followed by the dragon. Well, that's them. That's when you hear they coming, trust and believe. Dude is behind that. When you pass the abyss and then you pass them, that's just his chief of security. Then he comes, and he don't have no form. So you know what's his form? Everything in nature start wrapping around him. The bees, the bugs, the trees, the snake. He's just energy, and every energy just starts going around him, start just wrapping around him to give him form. So he's just nature. You see, it's like nature just get up on you and be like, yo, I'm here. And before you see him, you're gonna see the dragon, the horseman, Pan, every chaos god, the night side of the tree is gonna come. So that's where he's at, and that's why it's written like that in that order. They gave you the orders coming in, with that man last. So excuse me. With that in mind, I was going up in different levels with each god that you see. Now, past them, you coming across now the military, the real military. How long do we stare at the stars? You stare at the stars until the orb comes. When you stare at the star, this is what happens. This would be a singular star. I'm gonna have to use two. When you stare at the star, this would be a star, right? Say this is a star. You're staring at this tip right here, up here. You see the star, the tip, I mean. You're staring at the star. If you get a good stare at it, it's going to start looking like it's coming towards you. As it look like it's coming towards you, it's going to split. It's going to split into two. You understand? When you start seeing it like a V and it has the split in it, you keep looking, and it's going to start a rotation now, a rotation. And you follow the energy signature of the rotation, and all of a sudden it's going to be a little orb, a little lighter spot stop dropping down. You follow it, and it's going to come down to you through your window, wherever you're looking at, and you stay with it. Now, once it gets to your area or in outer space out there, it has to travel on magnetic fields. So it can't float in your air for it to get to you to give you the thing. It needs to float off a line. So if it comes in, it will have to ping off of this line right here. You see this line going across? Well, this is a magnetic field. It will run on this magnetic field, ping onto this magnetic field, and probably ping off your hand to ping onto you. It works off of pinging. It can't just be in the air. It only hops magnetic fields. So reflections and those type of things is what you will see. And it's easy to make it for it because your eyes it don't have no depth to it. Everything is in front of you. You're in a matrix. You add depth, an infinite amount of depth with your eyes. So it's easy for you to see the orb and give it depth and a glare. Just squint and you make a glare, and it could travel on your glare. It rides your glare. But it can't just ride itself. You understand? It needs y'all work together. It's an interaction between the two of y'all. So once you get the orb and it's spinning around the stars, it'll come out, it'll drop down, and then you get it. Greetings, wow, awesome information. You're welcome, Rising Lizzie. No problem. It's so much more. We just getting started. This is an encyclopedia of how the Egyptians do it. I follow the Egyptian custom. And so this is how we activate ourselves. That star being is going to attract another star being. So once you do the star staring, and you're going in for the night, like I said, the witching hour is when it's going to come. Try to be by yourself. Let every kids go sleep in the next room. Tell your man to get out, and just be prepared. It's going to come. Trust me. And you see it. It's more like a predator-looking image. You probably feel something crawling on you. The first one I did, it just was like a crab-looking thing, and it just moved slow. Move slow. You can't even. Don't let it know you know. Don't move. Just stay there, and you'll see it. Yeah. Then it's gonna just cover you and take you into another world. That's it. You go into Cyrus now. Now you become a Cyrus star. And once you go there, you got gatekeepers. Well, don't think you're just going there. It's a journey. This thing going like this is a portal. You're looking at it as what's called a fractal. It's fractal. It's your ancestor signal. It comes as an animal. Have you ever looked at the animals like in the the demions, the demons, Solomon Gotia? You always see like the king with the crown and the scepter, and he's riding on one of them things, or riding the dragon, Jason and the dragon. Well, the dragon or the animal is protecting their consciousness. They're inside the animal. They only could project their consciousness, and only certain demions could, or demons could, catch their consciousness, wear it, bring it to you. You understand what I'm saying? So when they do it, they actually, you will see the anagram, I mean the fractal that I'm telling you now is his consciousness, or the consciousness of Cyrus, and you're going through it like an army. You're going through a long journey. It ain't like you're just gonna pop up there and you turning rights and lefts and up and down. Next thing you know, you're coming out in a big place. That's how it works. And on the way, you might meet gatekeepers and other things on the way. But after each one finished, you get another one that comes if you go stare at another star the following day. And now this one that do this, he comes and goes sometimes and he gives you lessons. These is going to activate all your chakras. So now it becomes subatomic where sometimes you're laying down and you start feeling you're shrinking in your body. You're not even doing nothing, but you just feel like you're getting smaller in your body. You ever felt that feeling? That's because now you're going into subatomic world and you're going to go travel those worlds. So that's what Kundalini is about. Kundalini give you those sensations. Like after that started happening, everything got so real for me. Like I would feel my neck move. I could feel my ribs going in by themselves. It's like everything was just self. It did its own thing. My tongue came alive. It started rolling around, spinning around, doing its own thing. I'm like, what the hell? My top of my skull was moving up and moving back. On the top of my mouth was spread open wider and closed. My abs will just conform to how I think it would look by just looking at it through the mirror. It would just conform. So I see my cells and organs come alive. All of them came alive to where it was tripping me out. I would just lay in my bed, and as I lay still, my organs be moving. Like, what the hell? So I'm giving y'all straight facts, my own personal experience that motivate me to tell y'all these things and to teach this. And the only way we're gonna learn who we are and it don't just pop up on you as a surprise is following steps. It's steps to it. It ain't just something that happens instantly, even though it does. And for me, it was the change of environment. I was in the city, just coming to the islands and changing my environment messed me up. I went through it. It just made it like boom. And I'm looking at the sun and the star opened up and the sun coming towards me and just had me going crazy thinking I'm the son of Ra. And then later on find out there's an old bearded man look like the black Santa Claus behind all of this. And then that started me into ascension and purifying myself and my thoughts and understanding that the soul is an animal and it chases desire. Even if I had my soul, does not mean that I'm gonna get up to the spirit world. It actually just means I have more work to do because my soul is a desire animal and it's just gonna attach itself to things. So I had to learn alchemy of unattaching myself to anything and everything. That's why I separate myself even from people that I socialize with. But they'll tell you I'm an isolated person, hermetic. I follow the hermetic tradition. I see the dragon. I close my eyes, the dragon come and take me. And we all have that ability. But it's what you're seeing, what's your desires, what compels you, what motivates you. Those things is either real or not real. And the artificial ones you create can't render you to see right. You understand? You have to do natural things. What does that mean when the sun comes to you at night? When the sun comes to you at night, you know, those is all beings that actually is a part of already your system, your Makaba. And so all of them come and visit you during, excuse me, those cycles of the clock that I tell you about. That's why I said try to catch each hour sometime during your conscious life. Meditate on different hours, different weeks, different months under different zodiac signs, on different holidays. All of those bring you different gods, different spirits, different parts of yourself that have to only come in through your natal chart or through certain alignments. And you know, the sun is a part of it. You got to realize when you're seeing a symbol like the sun, it's for your subconscious. If it doesn't talk to you, if you can't read it like a sentence, which you're never going to see, is actually something that's going to activate you. When you see an image, just like McDonald's logo, Coca-Cola logo, Pepsi logo, it motivates you to want to go get that. And so when you actually see like the sun, like you're seeing, it's a program put inside you now that at a certain moment, an instinct gonna go off inside of you that's gonna actually take you to a whole nother level of yourself. Excuse me. So that's the problem. Like we don't know when we see subconscious images, such as when we're looking at the sun. All of those is talking to your subconscious. They read symbols, glares, lens flares. Your subconscious read that. That's like something talking to it. You understand? That's why they package up everything with a logo, because your subconscious read pictures. So you, when you see those images, try to interpret them the best way you can, because they not just only have a literal um, picture like such as the sun, but they also mean something in significance to what you're going through at the time. So you got to look at what you're going through. More than likely, it will be something that is bothering you, or something that is a decision, a split that you're going to have to make. And those are your confirmation, or telling you no, don't do it. You would get these confirmations too, also with numbers, numerology. You see alignment of certain numbers, these 13s, 111s, and so forth. They actually, as the angelic beings and higher beings, giving you a confirmation. The confirmation is the point you looked at the clock at that time. More than what the significance of the number is. They're just giving you a even number to consciously make your subconscious come alive and remember or see what it is. You get what I'm saying? So those is important. All right, now I was gonna say, stepping into the day, light is the darkness for you to run to. Without light, you wouldn't be compelled to move. So this is the whole thing, and it has a deeper meaning. Excuse me. You know, we ourselves, we shun evil in this world. Okay, thanks for. Who is the red bearded man at the door with the sword? That's the red bearded man. Believe it or not, it's Set. You got Set that plays the role, and so Lilith too. Lilith and Set. It's an invitation to the underworld. It's time to learn thyself, and learn thyself means to learn your limitations. Don't worry about who the man is, and that's why a lot of us don't make it into this world. We want to know. It's a new place for you to go venture out into. Just go ahead and leap feet first into it, because it's going to purify you and make you a better person. You know, what you're meeting is the invitation. It's either given by Set, who has some type of man. If it's a woman, she would have the same red hair too. That would be Lilith. They do that as an invitation to come into a cave, underwater thing. You're gonna see yourself. They're gonna take you someplace, and then from there, it's all governed by the angel Michael. Michael is where you're gonna meet next. They're gonna take you to Michael, who's gonna weigh you to see if you deserve to go to the underworld, or you're not. If you're not ready, he's gonna send you back out like it's just a dream and everything is all right. So if you're ready, then you will enter the Tuat, the underworld, where you'll have visions. You'll just have strong abilities such as empathism, the sense to tell things, see things. But you have these spirits that come and visit you and test you, and everything now become a test. Everybody's your gatekeeper, and how you handle your situation with somebody, your demeanor, your character, actually is going to open another perception of yourself, which is a DNA unlock, or close a perception of yourself, which is going to put you into a darker side of yourself and isolate you to just being with the mundane world, or you're going to come up into the spiritual world where all the spiritual people is, which is the future, and diversity is going to happen. Over the period of time, the mundane is going to die off out of society, because of the simple fact nature itself is going through an evolution right now. I would like to talk to you. Yes, that's what's going on the teachings. Well, I got everything. You could call me. You got my email. I think my email is in my thing. You could call me at 876-294-7297. You throw it in your WhatsApp. It's free or whatever. Or you could hit me up on right now. Use that. What books would you suggest? Oh, I got all the books, Jarvis White. Let me give you some books, as a matter of fact. I'm gonna run through a book list for you. If y'all like books, I love, you know, as a teacher, you have to be able to teach first, like how I'm teaching, without no books, nobody's information. My information is of my own. I'm not reciting nothing from nobody. But as a teacher, I know how I was. I was a person who went to respect. That's what's up, Rizza. Um, I mean, Rislin. I say it wrong, but it's all good. But the first thing I respect is somebody go double check that information or will want to see proof of what I'm saying. I love that because that's what I needed when I was going through them spiritual things. I didn't have no reference. Only thing I had was religion, and religion telling me it's evil. But I didn't know. I know I'm not evil. I told my mother. I called my mother and said I'm the evilest thing in creation, bro. She was like, "What are you talking about, son? You're a good kid." And it's just because that was the only definition that was there. And it was only until I realized what was going on. The books is in German, French, and all these other languages, and I had to go out the side to learn the truth. I felt that that's evil what they did to us. One, and two, it's a whole bunch of us with these type of pops, Kundalini things, or going through our initiations and don't have no way. While the Europeans got it, the French got it, the Germans got it. They know how to help their people going through these situations. Black people don't have no way to help themselves. Indigenous people don't have no way to help themselves because they took the information out of society a long time ago. That's what the problem is. It's not the fact that, we're special and this person is not special. We don't have the right data to support this. And that's what a lot of these doctors is learning now while you're seeing they starting to learn epigenetics and you see placebo medicine coming in. They learn this now. It's what you think and believe it will happen. And we was faced with that. That's what Kundalini is. So when we talking about stepping into the darkness all day without the light, you can't be moved. I was meaning in the sense of good and bad too. Like if there wasn't evil in this world, bad shit, a lot of us wouldn't be compelled to be good. So you got to realize if you want a good world, you can't get rid of bad then, because bad is what make bad was the first thing, the darkness, chaos. You could say that's what's evil because in it thoughts is running. It's like you without a body, and you're still you, and you don't know what's next to you. You're in darkness, and so you got all these superstitious stuff running around you. It's those monsters, scary things that you think is there until the light comes and brightens it up. Then you can see everything, and you start organizing everything. This is consciousness coming now. Consciousness organizes everything. And so when you realize what bad was, that darkness, you would run towards consciousness. So that's why it's important, not just for you to understand when I say it will compel you to move. It literally changes you. So the bad came first to make the good. And it's the same thing. When you're young, you're naive to the things you do until you become conscious. Then you say, all right, well, I want quality in myself now. And you just start fixing yourself to not just live, but evolve. Evolve is quality in a thing. You can have two things the same, but when it's different is the quality in it. You understand? So all of us right now, we're running around searching, we're seeking, and as much as you think you're looking for knowledge, you're looking for yourself, and the truth is humans is not at rest until they lit up their own darkness. Everybody's trying to light up their own darkness. That's who your I am is. And so once you get to understand what you're looking for is already in you, your being will be easier to be being. Just don't judge yourself. Don't see yourself to be like anybody else. You're one of a kind, you know? So I just wanted you to see that everything is really one and all of us is in synchronicity. So let me give you these books real quick because I love the book and I could prove anything I'm telling you through the book, you know. All right, a great one to get everybody onto the track. You know, you have, I'm gonna just run through. I will recommend The Return of the Golden Man from Jerry Issa. The The Golden Age of Man by Jerry Easter. He covers a lot of subjects in there as far as, the different aspects of the mysteries and what we don't know or understand. Um, if you want to learn about serpent power or, hold on, let me run through the different ones. I got empath experience. This is called empath experience. I'm gonna just let you see from here as a matter of fact. If you want some, but I don't want you to get confused. So I was gonna actually name them instead of just flipping through like this, because you could have screenshot these later. But I'm gonna give you particular names. Like the empath experience is a good book right here. I'll give you an example. What is an empath? So y'all get to understand. So this one. It's called the Empath Experience. All right, the author is right there, and in it now, let me give you a quick overview so you know if it's for you. All right. What is an empath? So that we go and read that part just alone. It said empath is someone born with the innate ability to feel and understand what other people, as well as other living things such as animals, in some cases even plants, are feeling and experiencing. The key to deciding whether or not you are an empath is to ask yourself if you truly feel the energetic and emotional and physical experience of this living being or the entire planet as though if it was your own. So you see, all of us we need that sympathetic energy back for you to actually get in touch with all this angelic side and the different sides of yourself. You have to be able to be sensitive to energy. That's what the empath is. And just being sensitive in general make you that empath. You put it like this. As much as you see me, I'm so sensitive, I can't watch TV. TV just messed me up. I be crying. I be emotional. I be happy. That shit ain't real. I get mad at it because they personally induce that in people, and you feel it like if it's so real. So empath for me is serious. So serious I don't watch TV or listen to music because of my empath abilities. Now it says being an empath is also often associated with clairsentience, which signifies an intuitive ability to intentionally harness empathic tendencies as the gift as they truly are. That's right, being an empath comes with special superpowers, especially once the gift bearer becomes conscious and aware of his or her unique capacity to feel and process energetic information such as heightened degrees. So you see, you come with superpowers. Yes, Donna Suave. And that's one thing that's real. When you're talking about empath, you're talking about the whole path, the whole ascension, the whole twin flame, the whole soulmate, everything. Because empath just means you've been initiated and you got your soul. You're connected now. You're one with God. God is only worked through psychic. You can't talk to him. He don't have ears to hear vibratory frequencies. He don't have organs like us. Like what we think is what we think we're him, and we got the same thing. But he only is attached to your soul, and your soul works through psychic abilities. That's why when you become an empath, you get these superpowers because it's linked to your soul. So that's the truth. Now, there is a difference between being an empath and being empathic. The empath is not to be confused with feeling of compassion, of empathy. Every living being is to some extent empathic, but certain beings experience the condition more strongly than others, and as such may identify as empaths outright. If you feel compassion or empathy towards others, you may feel sadness, hopefulness, or perhaps a desire to help them feel better. If you are an empath, you will experience the pain, the suffering, emotions, and physical sensation, or other emotional, spiritual, or physical information emanating from other beings as though it's your own. Now, I can help you with that so you understand it, because that was one of the problems I had. I used to stay on Facebook and I used to be like, always posting, and I got a lot of friends, such as Josh. And what we was doing was when I go astral traveling, I would see all my Facebook friends. People would grab my face. I would see this person doing that, two people fucking, two people kissing, a lot of people arguing and fighting. I see everybody's life. And I thought that was regular. And you know, my electricity went out for about, no, my internet went out for about 6 months. Believe it or not, the antenna in my town went down, and I didn't have no internet, and I didn't have no social media to go on anymore. So I had to get into myself, and that's when I got introduced to chakras, rings inside the astral world that nobody could see, and then also to what I see as my true path of really another side of myself that I didn't know existed because I was too busy trying to be on social media, trying to look on YouTube. When I let those go, it was like 50% of myself was into that, and another side of myself got opened up, and that side now was the real side that I realized, whoa, wait a minute. All these people is not supposed to be in my Macabre because it was me and the horseman. He went through and took everybody out. I started learning defense, like as a shaman. If you're gonna attach with somebody macabre, like if you enter a room and another person enter a room and y'all start conversating, one bubble go around both of y'all and y'all locked into one macabre. Well, if you have sympathy for the person and you care about them or think about them, you stay with that macabre, both of y'all. Y'all is in, even though y'all separated, y'all is in this one macabre. And so that's what I was seeing when I was seeing everybody flying through and uniting with them, everybody on Facebook, everybody I know from YouTube. And when my internet went down and the horseman taught me how to take out people out my macabre, take them all out, I had an empty macabre. And I was like, he's like, this is how you're supposed to be. Not have everybody in your macabre. And I was like, oh, I get it, I get it. And so you get to see that's what the problem is. We have too much people, and that's the attachments Buddha talk about in our macabre. But if you don't see your macabre, you wouldn't even know. But you will jump up early to go do this, go do that, and not focus on you. That's what's in your macabre, making you jump up and go do this and go do that and go do that. And so by clearing out your macabre, you only got you in it now. You're in control. You steering this macabre around, not other people, and you seeing their experiences. I talk to you, you're telling me about Joey and Pete, everybody except for about you. You don't talk about yourself. And so you know people's in your macabre. You know, that's one thing we first have to purify as ourselves. Because you could have, say, me in your macabre. For all you know, I could be a pedophile. I could have been a pedophile years ago, and then you let me in your macabre. You got a polluted macabre. And you don't know your macabre is polluted because you don't know my past. So it's good to know a person good before you put that sympathy and empathy into them. I just wanted to share that with you, with the macabre and everything else. Alright, now I would tell you, let me give you some more real quick. You got walking between two worlds right here. This is called walking between two worlds. You know, it gives you a great demonstration of what's going on in actually the spiritual world and in the physical world. That's by Phil Hines. Um, Let me give you another one. This guy, John Widoff or Arthur Avalon, he's a great author on Tantra. You see, Tantra is what we're going through. We don't know what our actual experiences we are having, but Tantra is the way that it is to go. Um, you have, let me give you 1 second. All right. You know what? What I'm gonna do is to make it easier. If you want, you could put in the comment what subject are you interested in, and I could actually put the books or whatever, the PDF I recommend for that subject. Because I got a variety of subjects that I cover, But every subject is a different aspect of the astral, of the different worlds. But I'm gonna give you some basics real quick. Hold on, let this open up. Here's a good one. I think every man should have this. Um, this is called the ultimate ecstatic solution to premature ejaculation. This teaches tantra and how not for men to come, and actually how to save your semen and what it's used for. So that's a good book to start off with because we need to save it. So is solar biology, one called solar biology. You have also now if y'all want to learn about the powers and abilities that come along with being an empath, I give you it through Twin Flames. This is the Twin Flame Reunion Mastery Course right here. It's by Kathleen Creighton, KATHLEEN And in it now, she tells you what it is to actually that occurs when you meet your twin flame and everything starts to come together. So I just want to show you the abilities that comes with it. It says, your twin flame is the opportunity that God gives you to rediscover your joy and innocence. There are more than a spouse or partner, but a divine counterpart that allows you to become someone that you are very creative intended you to be. They are your ongoing lessons teaching you that a divine union between the twin is only possible once each of them has found their wholeness. Each twin must let the other choose their own path, secure in knowledge that whether they go, the bond and sacred love between the two souls will endure. Ultimately, if you are met from each other, you will be together. In the end, you will have to do is love yourself and your twin. All it is that you see in the mirror, love them unconditionally, without fear of judgment or abandonment, without doubt or pride. Well, the point I'm making here is for you to get with your twin flame, it's like you have to cross a certain love yourself. You have to go through this ascension. Once you go through this ascension, you activate, and your other twin flame activates, what actually starts a psychic ability where the other person feels everything the other person feels. It's the story reflected in Hancock. The movie Hancock is about that. And so once you understand a little bit, let me see, I want to get to the abilities, and so you get to see how they actually interact psychically. The woman could feel everything the man is doing, his thinking, his emotional state. That's your twin flame, you know? Um, Let me see real quick. Um, Twin flames, let me explain to you real quick while I'm pulling this up. Twin flames are more enemies than lovers and friends. Your twin flame is somebody you don't get along with, believe it or not. Because they're there to ascend you. They're not there to pacify you and love you and be your friend. They're there to tell you the truth. So your twin flame is always going to be the one that's going to be challenge your status quo, what you're saying. And more than likely it's going to seem like a hate, So here go part, romance love versus true love. The story of stereotypical romance love that books and movies are so filled to make us believe that we will find our perfect match and fall in love. All our problems will be solved. We will live happily ever after. Have you ever wondered why this storybook scenario never happens in reality? Romantic love is all about Europia. Yeah, what's that word? I can't say it, man. Whatever. I want to say ecstasy and infiltration, the thrill of the chase and the sweetness of winning your mate over. According to people in the dating world, what is the most important thing for the first date? Not to find out what that other person is really like, but rather making a good first impression. The second, third, and fifth dates aren't that different. Even when you share some things about our lives, thoughts, and feelings, we never really reveal ourselves to the partner in the entirety. We keep parts of our personality hidden, afraid that our partner will find them disappointing. We refrain from monitoring certain episodes from our past, afraid that they will be held against us. In short, both parties of a romantic relationship are trying to meet each other's expectations, or what they perceive as expectations, because we are not always upfront about those, even for fear of being considered rude and demanding. The result of this game playing in a romantic relationship is more often a breakup of or a divorce than a happy ever after. Those who don't have the courage to break it off can stay in a loveless relationship for years, residing themselves in the thought that no one will love them the way they are, and presenting a more lovable front in the best way that they can. The sad thing is that saying in this sort of romantic relationship and constantly wearing a mask for the sake of an unrealistic happy ending stupefies us and stops us from becoming a whole person. True love, on the other hand, has nothing to do with pretending to be someone you are not. It is not codependent, but allowing genuine intimacy when you and your partner can see each other for what you really are and acknowledge the fact that neither of you is perfect. In a relationship of love, the lovers are nurturing, challenging, and encouraging each other to grow, acting as a catalyst for one another personal and spiritual development. True love does not impose control on the other or make demand on them, unlike passionate romantic love that can lead to possessiveness and jealousy. It is also not wax or wine dependent on our own state of actions of our own twin, but remains a constant much like gravity. Ultimately, true love is perfectless, selfless, because the thing we want the most is our twins' happiness, even if it means letting them go their own way and be a relationship with someone else. Whatever the case, we would never hurt them on purpose. Another hallmark of romantic love is the need for constant reassurance of the continuing affection. Romantic lovers feel the need to communicate all the time and compromise for the sake of maintaining a stage of agreement between themselves. These external expressions of love are necessary because romantic love lacks the inner resonance that is in every present between two twin flames joined in true love. Twin flames need no externally expressed reassurance or validation for each other because they continuously feel their connection in their soul. It is only when twin flames are still stuck in the ego that they seek validation. But deep down, they always feel they are one. The need to bargain and compromise is always largely eliminated because twins tend to be on the same page in most things, owing to their telepathic connection. So you see, twin flames is a whole nother thing. And in reality, when somebody keep asking you, you never tell me you love me or you never say this. Only thing, they don't have to love you. They just trying to make you please their ego. You never tell somebody you love them. You show them. And so if somebody's constantly telling you they love you, question them. I don't think they really mean it. Because sometimes that's the ploy we play. But I just want you to see that affection is not something you give. You show it. You understand what I'm saying? It's a big difference. When I say talk it and the person's demanding it, yo, show me love. That's an egotistical person that is just feeding their ego. And you have to realize that. All right. Now, romance through lack of choice. You got to understand, romance, love is the kind of feeling that inflicts itself on you. You don't fall in such love because you choose to. In fact, you often end up staying in a relationship for reason of compulsion rather than sincere choice. Relationships that start out as romantic love can turn codependent, are often plagued by fear of abandonment, jealousy brought about by low self-esteem. And a lot of us face that. We're in a relationship that's abusive because we feel we can't look at a person, you can't go see somebody else, you can't do nothing because your relationship is on the verge. It should never be like that. If that person want to go see somebody else, let them go see somebody else. Let them go do what they want. Because if it was really meant for you, it will be with you. You can't constrain them to only look at you and be with them. Maybe they belong with that person, not really with you, and there's somebody better. So you never try to tell a person don't love this, or you always have an option. Go whenever you choose, because I'm not gonna be the hinderer, and I don't want nobody to use somebody as a safety blanket to make yourself feel secure. Everybody's here to evolve, and that what is yours will always be yours. Nobody could take it. You ever been with a woman, and no disrespect, a stripper woman at that she goes and she entertains men for a living, and go to VIP room, get paid. But at the end of the night, she give herself to somebody, a single person that she only get intimate with, deeper. So she could be there at work making money, being intimate, and they're living out their fantasy. But in her, she have her own fantasy too. So there's a deeper side to everything that you have to understand. All right. So this is where self-esteem comes in, and you can turn into an obligation. If you're staying in a relationship out of guilt or a sense of duty, or because you are being emotionally blackmailed, you are not doing it out of choice. It has nothing to do with true love. Twin flame, once they awaken and fully trust in the connection, don't feel the need to control each other. All they want is for each other person to be happy. A twin does not put pressure on the other or make demands or harm them when they are truly ready to unite. Even when a twin flame pursue a relationship with another person, the other twin wish them happiness. And you see, this happens. Twin flames break up for a little while, then come back together. Break up and come back together. That's what makes it a twin flame, because that's how it really works. So even when a twin flame pursue a relationship with another person, you see, so this is documented. The other twin wish them happiness and accept the existing state of things as necessary for growth. There's no room for codependency when true love is involved. That's the problem. And that's why I read that thing from Corinthians, why people who you stuck only about your wife, or you stuck only about your husband, you don't get to make it up into the ascension or the higher world. Because even though you get a partner, you don't have to be in where you worried about it. You done looking this way, straight ahead. You meet a female or male, they going straight ahead, y'all like this. If you gotta go like this and start looking at them, you're gonna trip. If you gotta, you don't get with a person if you gotta watch, you gotta nurture. That just took away from your energy. It just took away from your going this way. So be careful with these so-called today modern relationships. They're not real. All right. There's no room for codependency when true love is involved. A person feeling that kind of love knows inside their heart that things meant to happen will happen, and no amount of attempts to control them will amount to anything more. However, it can take a while to realize that even with a true twin flame, a person who is experiencing mature love is ready to unite with their twin flame will never say things like "I can't live without you" or "You must be with me." True love always leaves choices open and never forces people to compromise any part of themselves in order to be loved. True loving someone means having them without owning them, without feeling the need to control them or to constantly be reassured. Instead, you will experience stability and confidence of feeling, knowing that you and your twin flame are sovereign beings enriching each other's lives through your true love. All right, so I hope that gives you an understanding of what it's like being like a twin flame. Now, if you want to hear about the divine side of it, the powers, um, let me see. I think this is important too. An important thing to remember about true love is that you cannot demand anything of the other person, including answers, explanation, or relief for any confusion or turmoil you might be feeling. True love is real. Anything and everything else you feel is your own product. This includes jealousy, frustration, confusion, and feeling like you are being ignored or abandoned. Even if you're being ignored or abandoned, the person is not ignoring or abandoning you. You ignored and abandoned yourself. You understand? Because you was the one who became codependent on a person and don't have your own whatever to keep yourself feeling full. Remember, it's like if you don't love yourself, you can't love others. So it's saying this includes jealousy, frustration, confusion, feeling that you're being ignored or abandoned. Has your twin flames severed all links with you and refused to communicate? Did they return to an old relationship or started a new one? Are you denying your connection? Whatever the case, they will not provide you with an answer, just as no one else will. All answers you need lie inside yourself. The only thing you can do for your twin, if you truly love them, is continue practicing love and acceptance. Your twin is doing their best, so do not blame them for the best not fitting your schedule. Let them do the work they need and in their own way and their own time. Acknowledge any negative feelings you may have about it and let them go until the only thing you feel for your twin is love. So this is deeper love. You understand what I'm saying? Twin flame is the highest calling from the Most High. And if you don't get it, it's like you could be with your twin flame and don't realize it because of our ego. All right, let me see if I could see about the ability, so you get to see the powers and psychic, excuse me, psychic abilities that come. All right, okay, 1 second. Ascension of the heart. All right, here you go. The telepathic signals we receive from our twin through our heart chakra can never lie to us. Verbal communication, however, can be very misleading, as a human may be saying falsely without intending to lie. The combination of these two facts can provide for a very frustrating inconsistency in communication between twin flames. For example, your twin triggering into running tells that you don't want to see you again, even if you just recently they acted like they were the most important thing in the world. You hear their words with a conscious mind, while your heart chakra is still receiving the energy of unconditional love from their soul. This imbalance between the internal and external signals can cause a lot of confusion and pain. In situations like that, you must remember that it's the internal message that is the true and important one. Telepathy, being a language of the heart, transcends all linguistic, religious, and cultural barriers. For twin flames, it also means the ability to see past each other's spoken words and unmistakably determine the authenticity and awakening heart is also a foolproof lie detector, which is why twin flames can never lie to each other, or for that matter to themselves. On one hand, a telepathic connection makes it easier to address the issues that your twin may be facing, even if you are unwilling to voice them. On the other hand, being able to see the truth about each other with no place to hide can be a terrifying experience. Imagine someone becoming aware of the feeling you have not yet admitted even to yourself, and therefore forcing you to confront them. It is not. It is no wonder that when we often find ourselves running from our twin flame, as we are always prepared to be this vulnerable and readily expose ourselves. And that's one thing with being a twin flame. That person knows things you might not even know. Like they be like, yes you do, and you be like, nah, what are you talking about? And they know what they're talking about and you don't. It's the most truth that had me like, whoa, wait a minute. That's not cool. It's not cool, man. Twin flames is not cool. I'm sorry. I gotta tell the truth. Because that person can help you because they know everything inside of you. And don't think this is a joke what this is saying. It's a fact. When you find your twin flame, the female will sense everything and know you and know what's going to happen. Same thing with a male. You might be trying to project the way you want him to see you, but he know the truth, and you might be denying it for the hell of it, but you know he's right. And so these are the things that help us to understand ourselves and wake us up to our true self. So twin flames is a part of ascension. Um, um, I'm gonna do different expressions of telepathy, then I'll pass on to another book. If you want this book, you could just email me or just comment and leave me an email and I'll send it to you. It's a good book. It's very, very deep and it teaches you about the twin flame. It's a mastery course. It says the telepathic connection of the twin flame soul can be present itself in a number of ways. In fact, a psychic connection with your twin can manifest long before you meet them in person, and that's a fact. Many people say that they have been aware of their twin flame for years before their physical meeting, sometimes since their youngest years. This form of telepathic awareness of your twin flame can be present in the dream state. Twin flames often have the same dream as well as reoccurring dreams of each other. In a conscious state, we can detect the telepathic connection to our twin in different forms. When our twin soul is reaching out to us, we pick up their unmistakable energy. Our pulse may quicken as we are filled with the feeling of their presence. We can experience it as a suddenly being able to smell their scent. In some cases, you can even feel them on a physical level. Being surrounded by warmth as if they're embraced, or feeling a gentle touch as if they were stroking our face or hair. You can get such visits from your twin at any time. And so you see, we got that ability to leave our body and go and touch our mate. It's written right here in the twin flame. So when I tell you we body double and we could go and do anything, don't get it twisted. It's just that I could do it without a twin flame, but yeah, there is the twin flame attached to it. Now it says, as if in the to embrace or feeling a gentle touch, as if they were stroking our face or hair. You can get such visits from your twin flame at any time, even when it's not convenient for you. For example, in a business meeting, but if that's the case, you can send your twin's energy away for a while without fear of offending them. This will not diminish the love or their soul for you. In addition to a physical experience of the connection to our twin, we can sometimes become a conduit for their feelings. When a twin is overwhelmed by strong emotions, they can spill over the telepathic link to their other twin, often unintentionally. So you may find yourself feeling suddenly angry for no reason, or experience a random burst of happiness, or start crying over nothing. If you are well aware of your one self, you will be able to recognize these emotions as the feedback from your twin's telepathy, and then let them go instead of letting them overwhelm you. So that's a fact. We all got that ability to tap in. Excuse me. And so when you feel certain emotions, it's still the same like energy transfer, and we're still like in the same category as an empath. When you become an empath, literally you have a partner, your twin flame activated. Someplace in the world is your twin flame. Once you become an empath, that's your activation. And so you and them is spiritually connected. Now, I want you to understand, twin flames don't always have to meet up in the physical world. Twin flames could only have it set up because it's pre-soul set up that they don't meet in the physical world at all. They marry mundane people, and it's just spiritual lessons they learn, such as astral flying, out of body experiences, astral sex, those type of things only for their soul development and not for their physical development, because twin flames love each other that much. So I'm gonna just leave it there for now, but if you're interested in more of that topic, that's fine. Now it's getting late. I'm gonna end this. This is 2 hours and 2 minutes. Yo, my lives is getting longer. You know, y'all need to hit that donate button too up there. I put the donate at the top if y'all want to cash apps and PayPal's, and I'm trying to get it. What are you doing? This is like 2 hours. I don't know. I hope it's worth it. If it's worth it, it's worth it to me. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be making videos too now, not just live. So stay tuned for a few videos, and I will make a book list and give y'all more than what I'm just telling y'all. But I want to do it in an order. I don't want to confuse you. So that's why I'm doing it one step at a time. Um, I want to thank y'all for coming, and y'all enjoy y'all night. If any questions y'all want to ask me anything, we could do it now before I go. You know. Oh, just checked into the live. Mind and Mania. That's, let me pull it up real quick. The book that I'm reading was. Oh, that's why. This is called Twin Flame Reunion Mastery Course by Kathleen Creighton. KATHLEENCRATON. It really, this one, the copy I have, the cover isn't on it. But you can see, I'll leave it there if you want to screenshot these pictures. This is from a Liquid Text document, but it should show the name and it got the information for you to get the book. So once you put in that author, you could get the PDF of it. Kathleen Creighton. Um, Let me see what that says. I didn't see what you said just now. Yes, yes. Greatly appreciated that. Much love. Yes, my mania. I didn't even get into the twin flame. You know, it's all part of ascension. As you can hear from what we're reading, it's a purification. And that level of purification is like you and your lovers in the Buddha field. And I mean, it's unbelievable when I tell you the psychic abilities that you have with a twin flame. It's the same, just like how I tell you, you visit the beings, you see this person right in the room with you. They know everything. Yo, they know what your sneaky shit is. That's the worst thing in the world. So you can't be sneaky in no way or form unless you're a liar too, because they're gonna confront you with that stuff. And I'm talking about from personal experience and then reading this later. Every book that I obtained, I didn't obtain it to teach. I obtained it because I was going through something and I needed to know more about it. And everyone that I'm passing on to you is in this actual world as real life experience that we need to learn about. And so from you keep on messing with me and learning from me, I would teach you. It's still a lot that I keep a secret that can help you activate, but I can't teach you until you're ready for it. So just keep tuning in, and every perception and activation will come, including more information to tap into these psychic abilities. All right, I just want you to know. So on that note, like I said, if there's any other questions, we could end off now, because that's the only way I want everybody to be at full understanding. The twin flame, it tells you all about your being too. Excuse me. The same being is the same as I'm telling you, forget about yourself and how you feel. Off topic, but what is the best incense to cleanse the home? The only, you talking to cleanse the home. Incense don't clean home. Incense brings spirits around. Aromas, scents of spirits. So if you're looking to cleanse your house of spirits, you can't use incense to cleanse it because incense brings spirits into your life. Only one incense that don't bring spirits and get rid of them is dragon blood. Dragon blood incense get rid of spirits. Aside from that, put camphor. Them mothball things, they don't like mothballs. Camphor. Camphor get rid of spirits. So that's the truth. Any real magician or anybody in the craft, we light incense to bring the spirits around us, not to get rid of them. If I want to get rid of them, I don't light an incense, But if I want them to come, incense, crystals, they love those things. So I just want you to understand that if you have a cat and you want to get rid of a certain negative spirit, cats get rid of negative spirits. Cats will trap it. You'll see the cat isolated. So those is good to catch negative spirits. But incense, we was taught wrong about incense, If you look into it, you'll see, go to the real incense store online and see which one get rid of negative spirits or get rid of spirits, and you will see it's only dragon blood is the only incense. And it's kind of expensive, but it's the only one that get rid of them. But your typical camphor do it. Camphor do it too. So if there's anything else, I'm here. It's a lot to learn though. I'm taking y'all back to the ancient, so I want y'all to understand that this is everything we're doing is more geared toward the ancient sciences or our ancestors used to do, which is more of nature science. Once you understand nature science, you get your magician powers back and your abilities back. So on that note, y'all have a good night. God bless.